Hey guys, Micah from blackbearcustomkydex. Sorry about the mess on my desk here. If I'm shooting this angle from now on or at all in the future, you're probably going to see a mess. I generally don't have much time to actually clean up too much, so I just try to tidy up a little bit anyway, at least get my tools where I know they are supposed to be and all that good stuff. But in any event, I'm not here to talk about my desk. I'm here to talk about a really fun project that I just finished. This one was for originally just a Benchmade hook, which is this guy here. This is sort of what would I call it? A rescue type tool, I think, used for either, you can do seat belts probably with that, strapping, or in the case of my customer Christian, he's going to be using it most likely to do things like cut off bandages and things like that. I think he said he was studying like sports medicine or something like that, but he's involved with athletic teams at whatever school he's at right now. So I'm sorry, Christian, I've forgotten so many of the details, man. Yeah, he told me all this stuff, and I'm butchering his story right now. But anyway, Christian ordered this sheath for a Benchmade hook. He asked for police blue with a storm gray upper layer, and that is reflective of whatever his school colors are. He wanted it to carry on soft loops, so you can see I've got here some soft loops with pull the dot snaps. If you're not familiar with pull the dot snaps already, what they are standard type snaps, but if you check out, I'm putting quite a bit of force on it trying to lift it from below, and it doesn't go. Yet if I lift from the tip, it comes off with relative ease. What they are is a one-way fastener that has a sort of a shaped mechanism on the inside of the snap itself that prevents you from being able to remove it in any other way but the one direction. So coming off, you have to peel it upward at the tip, and coming down, snap it again, you have to snap the tip down last. And there's no other way that you can get those snaps to go on. So very nice little invention there. I typically don't like soft loops or snaps, but if you gotta have them, pull the dot snaps are definitely the way to go. So if you look at the sheath, you probably notice that it is obviously going to be completely ambidextrous. You have the option of just taking out the soft loops and swapping them to the other side. So whether you want this thing on the right side or the left, hook forward or hook backward, you're going to be able to find a setup that works. One thing I'll tell you right now is that retention on this thing is very difficult to get because if you mold to the actual tool, you're going to have a very odd shaped sheath. And if you look at this thing, the entire blade stock, it's a uniform blade stock all the way, from the ring down to this little tip here at the end of the cutter. It's the same exact width all the way through. The only taper is here to create that blade inside the hook. So when you mold a sheath like this, you can't actually press this because you're going to wind up collapsing the Kydex up here, which then makes it impossible or very, very difficult to draw the hook through. So what I did was I just made a piece of Kydex. I cut a piece of Kydex to the outline of the hook, and I actually just pressed a piece of Kydex. And then I had to create some space between, so I put like a tongue depressor on each side of it. That's why you can see these vertical lines continuing at the bottom. The reason why the space has to be there is because I knew that it would be a real pain in the butt to try to do something like fixed retention where it just is however I want it to be. I think I would make good retention, but ultimately I'm not the one using the tool, so it shouldn't be totally up to me. And this being, how narrow it is, I just thought it needed adjustable retention. So I do have between the four top screws here, I've got some small spacers in there. So you can see it's a floated plate. It's joined down at the bottom by some Chicago screws, but other than that, the plate is actually open, and there are spacers keeping it open, and that allows you to adjust the retention. So if you want, you can tighten them down a little bit more. You could probably loosen them just a little bit, or you can put bigger spacers in there, ultimately, if you want more space. So rubber washers, rubber spacers, whatever you want to call them. So that is that sheath. I think that came out pretty nice, and you never know until you actually put the soft loops on whatever belt and whatever pants you're going to be wearing. So I think the retention is where I would want it, but in case that doesn't work for you, Christian, you can always adjust that. He also asked if I could make some kind of like keychain or accessory that would match the sheath. So I did a set of my dog tags. You can see these are real nice. Seamless edge. Same finish work I do to my sheaths, and logo on both sides. Put a little black ball chain on it so you can use it as a keychain or whatever you want, but those layers are actually adhered together as well as stuck together with an eyelet, so that should be pretty strong. I don't think that'll ever come apart, so hopefully this will be a nice little lifetime accessory that you have there. And then he added, a few weeks after placing the order, he added a sheath for an ESEE Izula, and he wanted it to be in black with mahogany leather scout strap. So pretty simple, but very nice. I'm a huge fan now of scout straps. I think I still like Tech Locks better just because they offer more versatility, but scout straps are a really great option. And what I'm finding, you know, I know this looks a little bit funky since the strap comes up higher, but what I'm finding is that if you make the strap big enough to fit something like a 2-inch duty belt, you're always going to be able to rock this on whatever belt you're wearing. So I just don't want to end up like, you know, making something too small. Or plus he'd be able to resell this if he wanted to, and if for what, you know, if you could sell that to a cop who's going to wear it on his duty belt potentially. So anyway, I just like having the flexibility to shift from one belt to another. So I know it looks a little bit awkward being quite that wide, but it's super nice. It works, it's functional, and I think it's more versatile that way. The draw on this guy is perfect. It is really, really nice retention and ballistic one-handed draw. It doesn't have much of a click going in. How I do my Izulas is I mold a little bit around. I basically use this finger choil as my retention place. Usually I try to avoid doing any kind of metallic element for retention, or part of the blade stock anyway, just because it can create these little wear marks like you see at the bottom of that choil. But that's pretty much the extent of the wear. It doesn't damage the blade any. And with the Izula, that's the only option because the handle is a negative contour going toward the blade. So this was basically exactly as it had to be. If you listen, here's the click going in. It's really, really minimal. It's almost more of like a little whispery swoosh, but the retention on it is quite good, and it's very, very smooth draw. So anyway, I got polka dot snaps on this leather scout strap as well, so keeping that theme going. And that is what I got for you for Christian. So Christian brother, I hope you like your stuff, and I hope it serves you well during your studies and your career long after that. So guys, if you like this stuff, if you like this keychain, if you like these sheaths, if you like this video, hit that like button. Let me know if you have any experience with tools like the Benchmade hook or any other similar rescue type tools. I have something on my I have the little Gerber seatbelt cutter tool on my keychain here. This guy, if you guys are familiar with it. Thankfully I've never had to use it, but I think it's kind of cool. Something just real compact, and if I can't get to a sharp blade out of my pocket or whatever, if ever I'm in that situation, then maybe I can reach to my ignition and grab that out of there. So alright guys, let me know about that. Let me know what you think of the ESEE Izula. I think this is just the perfect EDC knife. I'm a huge fan of it. And yeah, alright guys, that's what I got for you. So like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you sticking around, and I hope you tune in for the next one. God bless. Got to get used to that.